Imagine being a world-class guitarist, called to play with one of the most iconic musicians in history. Sounds like a dream, right? But what if that dream turned into a nightmare? Larry Carlton's experience on John Lennon's rock and roll album in the 1970s is a cautionary tale of how fame, ego, and chaos can derail even the most promising musical collaborations. And here's the twist. The album itself, now a cult classic, might not have been the same if things had gone differently. But here's where it gets controversial. Did Phil Spector's antics actually help the album, or did they ruin it? Let's dive in. Back in the early 1970s, playing on a John Lennon session wasn't just a resume booster. It was a golden ticket to musical immortality. But as Carlton, a session legend with credits ranging from Quincy Jones to Linda Ronstadt recalls, this particular gig was anything but glamorous. The project was supposed to be a quickie covers album, a way for Lennon to settle a legal dispute with music publisher Morris Levy. Instead, it became a free-for-all that tested the patience of even the most seasoned studio pros. The roots of the chaos trace back to 1969, when Levy sued Lennon for allegedly borrowing lyrics from Chuck Berry's "You Can't Catch Me" for the Beatles' "Come Together." After years of legal wrangling, Lennon agreed to record a few songs from Levy's catalog, but instead of a simple obligation, he turned it into a full-blown rock and roll nostalgia trip. Enter Phil Spector, the eccentric producer who had previously worked on Let It Be and Imagine. On paper, it was a match made in heaven. In reality, a recipe for disaster. The sessions for rock and roll stretched from 1973 to early 1975, but from the start, things were, well, chaotic. Lennon, recently divorced from Yoko Ono, was deep in his Lost Weekend phase in Los Angeles, partying with Harry Nilsson and the Hollywood vampires. Spector, meanwhile, was allegedly hoarding the master tapes like a movie villain guarding a heist prize. And this is the part most people miss. Spector's reputation for theatricality didn't just end with the music. Rumors swirl that he once fired a gun near Lennon's head in the studio, only for Lennon to snap back. "If you're gonna shoot me, kill me, but don't mess with my ears, Phil." Carlton, then 26 and already a session regular for big names like the Partridge Family and Andy Williams, found himself in the middle of this madness. "Phil Spector had booked us for 7 p.m. every night," he recalls, "but we waited until 10. No Lennon, no Spector. Leon Russell and I just jammed in another studio to pass the time. When the ex-Beatle finally showed up, drunk and disheveled, the vibe was toxic. It was a bad time for John," Carlton admits. "He was drinking, and the whole thing felt unprofessional. Take, for example, the session for Boney Maroney, a Larry Williams classic. John was calling the chord changes, just 3 of them, and he'd say, 'A, I got a gal named Boney Maroney. D, I said, I got it, but it was a drag,' Carlton explains. For a musician used to delivering on demand, this was a slap in the face. After that night, he bailed on the project entirely. I got home, called Spector's office at midnight, and said, 'Sorry, I can't make it the rest of the week.' It could have been cool, but it wasn't." And here's another twist. Despite being listed in some sources as a guitarist on the album, Carlton didn't actually make the final cut. The likely culprits? Steve Cropper and Jesse Ed Davis, who stepped in later. But the mystery remains. Was it Spector's interference, Lennon's state of mind, or just bad timing that kept Carlton's signature Gibson ES-335 out of the mix? In the end, Rock and Roll was finished in New York and released in 1975. It's a wild, raw snapshot of Lennon's rock roots, but it's also a reminder of what could have been. Tragically, it would be his last solo album before the 1980 double fantasy collaboration with Yoko Ono, and his untimely death just weeks after its release. Looking back, Carlton's choice to walk away seems justified. Yeah, that wasn't fun, I'm an admirer, but that was a bad time. So, what do you think? Was Spector's chaos part of the album's charm, or did it rob it of greatness? And if you were in Carlton's shoes, would you have stayed for the ride, or walked out like he did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate this one.